again, this is Tyler with Legendary Vegan Art, and today I'm going to start painting the drawing of Jared that I did in a previous video. I'm going to put a link here if I ever remember how to do link annotations. So to start out, I'm going to block in the 3 or 4 major colors, and that's probably all I'm going to do today. And what I'm going to do is figure out what colors I need for my 4 color areas. So I'm going to do the background, a nice light color for the shirt, probably a skin color, and a color for the hair. And I'm going to block off each of these areas beforehand using art masking fluid, which is this sort of rubbery liquid that you can lay down, and it hardens pretty quickly. And it prevents your paint from going onto the areas you've covered. And I'm going to start applying it using this special tool I have here called an Incredible Nib. I haven't gotten to use it much, but some people really like these, so here goes. It's important to pour out your masking fluid into a little container and not just go straight from the bottle, because then you'll let the whole bottle dry out, and this stuff has a fairly short shelf life. It does not last forever, so I kind of like this broad edge here. It's a little hard to see. They make this stuff off-white, so you can tell where it is. But it doesn't show up really well. And the reason I'm masking off like this is because I'm going to use a big quill brush here to really blast in these big color areas. And using this masking fluid, I'm going to slightly underdraw the hair area, just because when I put that in, it'll be so dark that it'll easily cover up or sort of overpower the yellow. And that will help me on these outer areas to get some more sort of little flicks of strands of hair that so I won't have to try and draw yellow inside the hair area. I'll be drawing hair onto the yellow area instead. So when you're doing watercolors and you really can't sort of undo the colors that you've put down very well, you have to be pretty careful about the order of colors you put down. This Incredible Nib's kind of cool. Along the line of his shirt here. I think I might just fast forward through the rest of this because you guys know how this works. Let's not forget this area down here. As you can see here, it's a much darker area. But I'm still masking it off, and I'm still do it at the same time I draw or paint the background yellow color. I have to hold this in a lot of strange ways just so I can see what I'm doing, and I don't want to move things around too much for the sake of this video. It's hard going over the areas I've already masked because stuff dries so quickly it's already getting kind of gummy. But that's good. Alright, let's I'm going to go rinse this off. I don't want to use it in do that in my paint water because it gets really gunky really fast, and I'll be back to paint this in when the stuff's dry. So the masking fluid is dry, and now I'm going to start mixing up a big wash of this yellow color here. I'm going to mix it in this cup instead of on my palette because I need a good amount of it, and on my palette it tends to dry out or just use all of it, and then I have to mix up some more, and that's kind of a pain. So I'm doing a lot of things that I don't normally do in this video. Using lots of masking fluid, using these big washes. I've already put a little red in here because this is a very slightly yellowish orange. I mean, a very orangish yellow. And my red paint tube is damaged. And I can't get the cap off, so I have to actually cut the bottom of it and get the paint out that way. Which is kind of a shame. It's probably too much yellow. But it's fine, it'll keep. It's watercolor. So let's get lots of water in here. And just start mixing this up. We can get a nice watery mix here. Sort of get as much or as little paint as we want. Yeah, this looks good. Get a little more water. Put too much too much paint down, but it's a learning experience. This was an experiment. Now, just to be sure, we're going to test this out on our paper here. Looks pretty good to me. Let's take this with our nice big brush, start putting down this pigment. I really like this quill brush that I got recently. It's made by Raphael. It's a soft aqua synthetic brush. I use synthetic brushes because they are cruelty-free. The vegan in my title isn't just there for show. And it's a really great brush. It's very soft, it lays down nice even washes, holds a lot of water and a lot of paint. Yeah, I'm just very impressed with it. Let's try and even this out a little. Let's use the flat of the brush a little more, not get any of these sort of little marks. That should be nice. It's sort of a weird coincidence how this color I've mixed is so close to the color of the masking fluid anyway. That normally doesn't happen. Normally it's a little easier to differentiate where you put the color down and where you haven't. So I may build this up in the future because it's come out pretty light. Watercolors tend to dry lighter than you want them to at first. So I'm going to keep that wash up here, and when this is dry, I think I'm going to put another layer on. I'm probably not even going to bother showing that. You guys know what I'm doing here. Then I will start the video up again when I'm ready to paint another color area. So I have a couple of coats of yellow down, and now I'm ready to take off the masking fluid. So to use that, I'm going to use this rubber pickup I have. You use these to pick up masking fluid or rubber cement. It's just this sort of rubbery, spongy block that the masking fluid really sticks to. And you can gently sort of lift up this stuff. You get a big bundle, you can just pull it off. Then when I'm done with this, I'm going to start again. Masking off the shirt area. I'm going to mix up a nice gray for that. And rejoin me then. So I have the new layer of masking fluid down, and now I'm going to start mixing up a light gray for this shirt area. Now, when I'm choosing what color to lay down for these initial washes, not just for the background, which is a solid color, but for these, which are going to have a lot of colors, I pick what's just about the lightest color that I can see here, which you can see on the edge of these folds. It's just a sort of nice light medium gray. And I'm going to make it by mixing two contrasting colors. So I'm probably going to take this permanent alizarin crimson and a phthalo green. I don't normally use these, but I'd like to try something new. This is why I got these colors, is to sort of experiment. See if I can try something else I don't normally do. And see how it turns out. So I'm going to use more of the red than the green because phthalo green is a very strongly staining color. It has a lot of covering power, tends to overpower mixes. So I'm going to see what I have here, see how it turns out. Alright, this mix looks very green. Well, I guess as I get to the different puddles of pigment, of paint, different colors will sort of take over and show their strength. So maybe I didn't add enough green starting out. I'm going to carefully move this aside here. Got a lot on my brush, but that's okay. It's almost like a sort of cranberry sauce. It's got to add a little more tubed green.
I'm mixing cards so I can see how it actually is going to look. Some water in here. And get this green working into the mix.
If this doesn't work out, I can always fall back on my old standby of using mixing a blue and a burnt umber or a burnt sienna. That's the colors I normally use for mixing blacks and grays. Let's just test this out. I think it's still a little too red. It is, but I'm getting close. I know I want a nice cooler green, or cooler gray, sorry, because this gray colors can lean more towards being warm and brown or cool and bluish. And this is definitely a little more of a cool silvery bluish gray. But I don't want to overshoot. Of course, there's nothing technically keeping me using these exact colors. I could always add just a touch of blue. But it looks like I've really landed on this nice blackish gray color. See how this looks? I actually gotta flip this testing card over. I've used that side a little too much. Alright, pretty good, but a little too red. I'm going to take the time to get this color right and lay it down. Alright, that looks really good. This is going to definitely be a lot like the color I want to lay down on this shirt. Let me just pull up my reference, put this aside. Make sure we get it to the right watery consistency, because that's going to determine how light this looks. Just a touch lighter. I can always darken it a little, but lifting is hard, so I'll make sure I get it as bright as I can in the first go through. I like that. So just a touch thinner. I haven't worked with mixes this big before, but it's something I've been meaning to try out. I have this terrible image in my mind of this whole mix getting upended and pouring all over the picture, but I'm going to be careful. That's why I use these nice wide-bottomed mixing dishes. They're actually just old fruit cups, because I like to eat some applesauce and some mandarin slices. If you guys want, you can tell me your favorite fruit cups in the comments below, because that's how we keep it vegan. I have to constantly remind myself I don't have to be super careful around the edges, because I put masking fluid down. It kind of disappears against the orange background. I've chosen an odd color to start using it for this video, because you just can barely see it. Seems to be a theme in these recordings. You can barely see the graphite drawing that I did last video. I even tried to scan it and it just wouldn't even pick up. Now you can barely see the paint I'm putting down. So it looks like I've gotten a little too dark on this side, so let me grab just a little water, maybe even that out. Some of you guys might say to me, Tyler, you big dummy, you mixed way more paint than you need. You still have all this pigment left in your cups. What a waste. But no, when the water evaporates, the gum arabic and the pigments are going to stay right here. They're going to stay put, and I'll be able to use these later. And for the yellow background, I still have another painting yet to do in this Hot Pepper Gaming series. And for the gray, you just always can use gray, so I have no qualms about mixing so much. I know I'll use it later. So in a minute, when this is good and dry, I'm going to peel off the masking fluid and get to work on the face. Get to mix another fun skin color, which if you've seen my other videos, it takes a bit of doing. I've got my paints all ready to go here, and in the next video I'm going to start doing the skin tones of the face, and I'm actually going to save the hair till later. I know I said I'd do it in these first few color areas, but I'm decided against that because the brown colors, like the burnt umber that I usually use, they're nice and dark, but they also lift easily, so as I'm painting some of these face areas, I don't want to brush some of that brown onto the lighter skin areas. That'll kind of make everything darker and muddier than I want it to look. So I'm going to save the hair till later, till nearly last, when I get to color over some of these lighter areas. And I'm also probably not going to cover one big skin area like I said I would. I'm going to do it a little more targeted towards the different colors that appear on the face. So that's what I'm going to do next video. I'm trying to break these up to be a little shorter and a little more bite-sized. So I hope you'll join me then. If you liked this video, please click the like button. It helps me a lot. If you have any art questions or anything you want me to address, just leave that in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to keep up with this series, go ahead and click subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thanks again, and keep it vegan.